Boys, welcome back to the video. Thanks for being here. It's great to have you here. Now, I need you to lock in for a second, okay? Because in this video, we're going to be talking about how you can fire yourself from your current business, or if you're somebody who's aspiring to start a business, how you can set your business up from the start to be more successful quicker using agentic frameworks or AI agent frameworks that can do tasks for you and actually run basically 80, 70, 80% of your business while you focus on the high leverage, important tasks that either require your unique skill set or your creative input. This is part one of a 3-part series, okay? So in this one, we're just gonna talk about the basic framework that I've used to fire myself from my business and how you can do the same. In part two, we're gonna go over how you can set up N8N and self-host it. If you don't know what N8N is, it's basically an automation platform very similar to Make or Zapier, if you've heard of those. And I'll show you how to self-host it so you can entirely own everything and you can run it on your own cloud server. And I'll also show you how to use their infrastructure, which is much easier. Then in part three, I'll be showing you how to set up some automations and a full breakdown of every component in N8N so you can set yourself up to be successful and actually integrate these AI agents into your company. If that sounds good, stick around. We're going to get into it. Now, as I said, this is part one of the 3-part series. So this is going to be a lot more theory. Like if some of you are in university or have ever been, you know, when the teacher just like rambles about theory and you're like, bro, when do we actually get to apply this stuff? That's kind of what this one is. So it's going to be a little bit boring. I'll put some timestamps in the description if you want to skip through, but it's got to be done just to give you a little bit of a prerequisite as to what we'll be getting into in parts 2 and 3. So of course, this is a guide, DIY guide to dissecting your current processes and replacing yourself with agentic frameworks. There's no magic pill you can take to have this done for you. This is basically an audit of your time, where it's being spent, and your current beliefs in your business and how it's operating and how it's running, right? It's running the way it is because you set it up the way it is. So we need to dissect that first to implement change. So that's the first step. You need to question old habits. If you want to actually fire yourself from the day to day, you need to think, why am I doing things the way I am? And the biggest question is, if when you find yourself saying, this is how we've always done it, or this is the biggest red flag, you need to fire those habits first, because probably those are the ones that are dragging you down the most because they're just ingrained in you from people around you, your environment, or just systems that you've believed to be true for this long, but actually don't make a difference and aren't true, basically, right? That's the first thing. You need to question your old habits. Next, you need to pinpoint the recurring tasks. Document absolutely everything. This can be in Notion, in Notes, in a Google Doc, or good old pen and paper, whatever you want. Write down every single daily, weekly, and monthly task. Now, this doesn't have to be granular. This doesn't have to be like, went on a run today, right? This needs to be stuff that's actually going or can be automated by an AI. Basically, all your administrative stuff, your client outreach, your email responding, your calls you take, the texts you send, stuff that's draining you, but stuff that's necessary to move the business forward. You need to create this comprehensive audit, right? Document absolutely everything. Spot your targets. Anything you see repeated consistently, data entry, scheduling, mindless emails, should be automated and can be automated. Those are kind of like, just basically look for repetition and patterns, and that's probably a sign that things can be automated. So definitely look for those. And the last and most important thing is you have to accept absolutely no excuses. If you or your team won't bother to listen to these tasks or to participate in this audit, you've already uncovered a problem with your culture or your drive, right? You need to be self-motivated or intrinsically motivated to actually complete this audit and do this well in order to move on to the next step where we can actually implement the systems in part 2 and part 3. So you need to focus on value creation. Your unique skill set and strategic thinking drive revenue growth and innovation. Anything that doesn't leverage that can be automated and should be automated. We often feel busy equals productive. Real productivity comes from high impact tasks that utilize your expertise, right? Of course, we can train an AI to be very similar to you and very close to you, but the tasks that actually, like talking to clients one-on-one, giving them advice one-on-one, hopping on calls, we can't get an AI to do this. So these are things that you need to be doing within your business, and the rest of it, there's a bit more of a question mark there, right? You need to identify the real work, dump or automate the rest, and then elevate yourself. Freeing yourself from busy work unlocks time for big picture thinking, right? That's the whole point in this. You need to shift the low level tasks to AI agents. Identify the tasks, use the audit, right? After a week, use the audit, look at it, then identify the tasks, the repetitive ones, like I was saying, data entry, simple emails, appointment setting, bookings, absolutely all of the repetitive, mundane things. You need to identify those and highlight them with a really bright color on your audit. That next is picking tools. So there's tools to actually complete these. We have N8N, which is what I'm going to be focusing on in this tutorial. We have Make, a lot of Make tutorials on my channel, a lot of great tutorials on other people's channels. Make is an incredibly powerful platform. Or more advanced agentic, and agentic means having the power to act or having agency to make decisions. Framework like Crew AI, they have an incredible GitHub repo. I'm going to have some tutorials on Crew AI coming out super soon. So if you're interested in that and you're somebody who's been waiting for that, sorry for the wait, but they're coming super soon, I swear. And frameworks like these, they tie everything together. 2025 is the year of AI agents. This is when it's going to boom. This is when we need to actually lock in and hone our skill sets to utilize these agents in our businesses or just in life in general to make better decisions quicker and use less of our own energy. And the hardest part is actually committing to this transition. Firing yourself means letting go of old methods so your AI agents can step in. It's definitely easier said than done. Now, from your audit, you need to note the reactions, and then from your audit, but also from your first implementation, you need to note reactions. Energy draining tasks, automate them using AI agents. Experiment, learn, grow, see how it plays out in day-to-day ops. Do you feel a mental or emotional lift? You need to check in with yourself, because if you don't feel these lifts and you don't feel the benefits, like internally, like in your soul, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this is so much nicer. I don't have to do X, Y, and Z. There's probably a bit of an issue, and we need to actually question our motives as to why we even want AI agents or if they're going to be beneficial in the first place, right? Some businesses don't need them the way they're running or don't need as complicated of frameworks. So if you're automating too much, which is a real thing, maybe we need to step back. You need to be honest with yourself. And then if you have a team, you need to talk to your employees or colleagues. Are they relieved that these are off their plate, some of these tasks? Do they feel threatened by AI stepping in? You need to clear the air and make sure that they realize this is just something that is going to future-proof the company, something that will help everyone in the company save time and get more time back with their family, kids, with their friends, whatever, and help the company make more money in the long run. So this is beneficial to absolutely everyone. Now, this is the part where you need to adapt for better outcomes. So this is assuming you've already implemented, right? This is kind of skipping. This is kind of going through step 2. This is after step 2. Like the next video I put out, you need to expect initial bumps, right? There's a learning curve with using these systems and kind of operating them or having them be a part of your team, right? Because these agents are kind of a part of your team. If something isn't going well, don't abandon the process, right? Errors are not failures, they're signposts, and they're pushing you towards that next goal and refining the agents even more. Investigate the issue instead of assuming the AI is broken, as so many people do. You need to implement small tweaks. You can't just overhaul the whole thing. You need to have a hypothesis, look at the errors, look at the failures, reevaluate, implement the new system, then test the new system, and then start that process all over again. AI is not a mind reader. Shit, garbage in equals garbage out. Shit inputs equals shit outputs. And then calibrate your prompts. You need to aim for a well-oiled machine here. Now, again, this is kind of, moving into that next phase, but this is something that's very important at a high level, right? So this is a guide that you can come back to once you've watched part 2, part 3, and you actually have automated systems in your business. Once you start automating tasks, don't just hope it's all working. You need to review data and look for patterns. Look at the numbers and outcomes to see if your AI agents are actually saving you time and improving quality. Because if they aren't, You're probably automating stuff that doesn't need to be automated. You're probably doing too much, and you're probably actually wasting time building too complex of systems or too many systems. This is a real reflection here, right? Spotting the hidden problems, repeated glitches may show up as patterns which automatically tell you something is off in your prompts, connections, or workflow design. If a particular AI setup constantly needs human intervention, and I know this far too well from systems I've implemented, it's not really firing you from the task. Fine tune it until it does. And I kind of define constantly as more than once every 7 days. If you have to step in that often, you can make it better. You can always make your system better. Expand or simplify as needed. As I said before, build more agents if it's working, build less or take away agents, strip away agents or features from your current agents if you see some patterns that you don't really like. And basically lock the fuck in, guys. Like, it's never been easier to fire yourself, like literally. So this is extremely important. This is part one of the video. I'm really glad that I kept this one quick because nobody likes all the theory stuff. As I said, sitting in class sucks when your prof's just chatting shit and you're like, dude, can we actually like build something? So that's coming in part 2 and part 3 of this tutorial. The full N8N tutorial. Stick around for parts 2 and 3, guys. Can't wait to see you there.